When Christ came, heaven and earth intersected. For a moment, people got to see God walk amongst them. His kingdom was set forth. His power was in full display, and His love was felt amongst those whom Jesus interacted with. And He didn't interact with just anyone. He interacted with those with no value, the unimportant, and the outcasts. In John 9, verses 1 through 7, Jesus and His disciples walked by a blind man, and they asked Jesus, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? The blind could only really make a living by begging, and on top of that, there was a belief that one was born with a birth defect because of his parents' sin. This man not only had to walk around being blind, but he also had to carry the perception that he came from a family of sin. Who would have compassion on this man? Who would want to have anything to do with him? Because of this, Jesus' response to His disciples is incredible. He tells them that this man was born blind so that God may be displayed in him. This man who is an outcast becomes an object of God's power. In an instant, not only is his sight restored, but great value is given to him. In Luke 10, verses 38 through 42, Jesus is at Mary and Martha's house. Martha is doing a bunch of house chores, and Mary is sitting at Jesus' feet listening to His teachings. Martha obviously gets mad and asks Jesus to tell Mary to help, but Jesus says that Mary is doing a good thing and that she shouldn't be stopped. This may seem very trivial to us, but what Jesus is saying is very radical. See, the phrase sitting at someone's feet described the formal posture that a student had towards his teacher. In essence, this picture of Mary sitting at Jesus' feet is the picture of a classroom. But in the social context, school wasn't for women. By social norm, Mary was supposed to be helping her sister. The radical part is that Jesus, as a rabbi, is giving license to a woman to do something outside the norm. Jesus doesn't merely do this out of rebellion, but it's because He wants to give Mary the freedom to pursue something that's good. There are other places in the Gospels in which Jesus breaks social barriers for the sake of giving freedom to people that they may otherwise not feel like they have. In Mark 10, verses 13 through 16, children are being brought to Jesus, but the disciples drive them away with a rebuke. See, right now they find themselves in Judea, and probably what they're thinking is that Jesus is about to walk into Jerusalem, kick out the Romans, take the crown, and restore the kingdom of God. They have war in their minds, and in that context, children are useless because they cannot fight. However, Jesus corrects them with indignation and tells them not only that these children belong to the kingdom, but He makes them the very standard by which one enters said kingdom. In an instant, these children go from being unimportant to being extremely important. See, God came to earth and He created change. He gave those with no value a rich one. He freed others of cultural shackles and made the unimportant important. Jesus did this not to merely challenge society, but to show us the way of the kingdom of God, to give us a glimpse into heaven. At this point in this video, you may be asking yourself, why am I sharing all of this? And see, Jesus is no longer here, but He left us Christians to advance His kingdom. There are some whose value we need to increase. There are social and cultural norms that we need to challenge. And there are some who are considered unimportant, whose importance we need to bring forth. And see, we need to do this not just to challenge all the wrong things in our world, but to show people the way of the kingdom and maybe, just maybe, give them a glimpse into heaven. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.